Okay, so I just saw one of the most unnecessary crossovers of all time. Batman, excuse me, top billing. Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is a direct-to-DVD movie. They've made a lot of these. DC has, anyway, and I haven't kept up with a ton of them. I've seen one or two, and the ones I've seen are good. They just don't... I don't know, they don't grab me because it's always kind of a different Batman, kind of a different Superman, there's different redesigns, and if it was always like this one universe, maybe I could get more into it, but because it's different every time, it's stupid, I know, but it's hard for me to get as invested, even when they bring back, like, where Mark Hamill is the Joker and Harley Quinn and stuff like that, there's always something that's like, yeah, but that's not really them. It's a stupid part of me, but a lot of the ones I've seen have been pretty good. I saw the advertisements for this, I'm like, what? And I'm thinking to myself, the person who got this job, let me put it this way, if I got this job, I was a director, and here's all these DC movies, here's all these scripts being handed out, and I got Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Even though I love Batman, I love the Ninja Turtles, I'd be like, what'd I do wrong? Come on, what the hell am I gonna do with this? But thankfully, I didn't direct this. The right person did. The person who got the script said, oh, fuck yeah, I'm gonna make something awesome with this, because by God, this was friggin' awesome. I could not believe how much I enjoyed this. Like, this was stupid fun. I mean, and I mean that very much in the literal sense. It is quite stupid, but it's not... It gives you exactly what it promises. When you hear the title Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you want something that's gonna be a little stupid, but like, I can't say it takes itself seriously, but it takes itself at just the right tone. It has this edge to it. It has kind of this grittiness, but it doesn't go too far. It's still silly. It's still a guy that dresses up like a bat and these teenage reptiles that know ninjutsu, who like pizza, and they team up. And it's these two worlds that have gone through a lot of different variations, and they try to combine, like, all of them in this. There's a ton of in-jokes that, again, do not feel like cringy at all. Like, they're legit funny. They're actually really funny, and they're really clever. And the nice thing, too, is that if you, let's say... Okay, for example, like there's some point where somebody's throwing a bunch of stuff at Michelangelo, and the way he bats them away is exactly how he bats away the objects in the opening of the Ninja Turtles cartoon. Now, if you don't know that, it doesn't affect a thing. It's not like they did it and they turned the camera like, huh? That feels familiar. Like, they don't really do that. Another great example is, they have the turtle van in this, and they shoot, Donatello gets up with this little gun. First of all, he says, Bossa Nova, shoots it. That's great, but if you don't know that he said that in the first Turtles movie, it won't matter. It's just a funny thing he says. But what he fires, the toy, if anyone remembers, of the Turtle Van shoots pizzas, which is quite ridiculous. Here, they shoot sewer covers, manhole covers, that are spray painted like pizza. That is just friggin' brilliant, because that way not only are you making it like the toy, but you're also making it a legit weapon. It's like, it's so funny smart that way. And there is a ton of violence in this. I don't know what it's rated. I'd be shocked if it wasn't like, oh god, it has to be a PG-13, maybe an R? I don't think so. I think it's just PG-13. Because I don't recall it being gory, but it can be like... I don't know, there's a lot of scenes where I go, ooh, like you feel the pain in this, and when people transform into something, it's not like they just morph, like you see the wings sprouting out and going, and their skin like ripping and veins and stuff. I mean, you feel everything in this, every punch, every kick, every car going through a gate or something, like you feel all of it, and there's a high body count in this too, and it's seemingly for nothing. I mean, it's just stopping bad guys from, whatever, taking over the world like always or whatever, and it's just like, if you're gonna do this, why not go all the way? I mean, the people that seem to watch these DC movies are older. I'm sure there's some kids that watch it too. I'm sure a lot of teens watch them. But this is what teens want to see, and this is what older fans want to see, and... okay, so you got this idea of Batman versus the Ninja Turtles. First of all, they fight a bit, not a ton. You could argue the title is them like trying to get along, like their different way of doing things, which is like, okay, that would kind of justify the title. But you have this idea of these two very different art forms coming together, and what do you have? Well, you have these different villains, and you have the main ones. You have Shredder and you have Ra's al Ghul, and they're teaming up for goo! It's always for some kind of goo, and they're gonna combine their goos together to make something that's gonna, you know, have them live for 1,000 years or whatever. And so you got this idea and these different villains, and what do? They take all the Batman villains in Arkham Asylum, and that they make a deal with the Joker because he has some sort of, you know, his chemicals, his goo that, you know, can turn people into, you know, crazy laughing people and stuff. They combine it with their goo that's like mutagen stuff, and all the Joker wants is that mutagen. He gets it. What does he do? Exactly what you would want him to do. He turns all the Batman villains into mutants. Like, Christ! And it's just as awesome and as funny as you would think. You know, so they go to Arkham Asylum and they have to fight off, you know, the Batman villains as these different animals. Now, does it make sense why they turned into these certain animals? No. I'm assuming they're going with the explanation they went in Out of the Shadows, where it's like animal ancestors or whatever, but it makes no sense. But this is a movie that doesn't have to make sense. It is all about the fan service, but like in the best way, in the smartest way. It's not something where it's like, wow, this both has like the fan service and the comedy, but is like really deep and meaningful. You know, it's not like Lego Movie, you know, it doesn't really do that. But it's still, it has everything but like that deep heart to it, but that doesn't mean, but hey, I don't want that. Who would want that from Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? But on top of that, there's still charm and there's still likability to all these characters, and you legit like all of them. Batman's great. God, Troy Baker doing Batman and Joker, I mean, it's like, Joker, I could eventually figure out that wasn't Mark Hamill, but like for a good chunk of it, I'm like, I just thought it was Kevin Conroy. Like his impression of both of them is spot on. Like even when you know, okay, that's not Mark Hamill, it's not distracting. You're hearing the Joker. I think that's what real good voice actors should do. It makes it where it's like, it's not necessarily like an impression, but it's still the character. And you see Batman, you see the Joker in this, and even all the other characters, the voices all sound different. But it feels like them. Oh, that's Leonardo. Yeah, that's Michelangelo. You know, that's Batgirl. That's Robin. You know, all of them just feel like these are the characters and this is how they would react in this situation if this crossover happened. So, yeah, you have stuff like, so you're gonna have the Batman villains turn into mutants. What are they gonna turn into? All of them have to match their personalities somehow. So you have like Harley Quinn is a hyena. Brilliant. You know, Mr. Freeze is a polar bear. Brilliant. There's all these things that's just like, God, you had this idea and you weren't like, all right, let's just push this out so we can get to the next DC movie. It's like, no, you're like, let's do everything you friggin' can with this and really give people, fans of Batman and fans of Ninja Turtles, which I am a fan of both, exactly what they would want to see. And it's done still with this intensity to it that surprisingly really works. It never goes too dark, it never goes too gory or anything, but it's still like aggressive. It feels like an 80s action movie where they just kind of kill people without thinking twice, like the good guys will. And, you know, they just kind of don't think about it and they say a cool line while saying it, but there's also this charm to these characters, and the way that Batman is very different from the Ninja Turtles, they work with that, and they have, you know, Michelangelo will annoy Alfred, you know, Donatello and Batgirl get along, you know, because they're kind of the science nerds. So it's all this stuff that surprisingly really gels, and by God, they just turned out something that is just so entertaining. And the action is fantastic. Like every fight scene is just beautifully done, and it's quick and it's fast, but you still feel the impact of like every punch. you know, I was talking about the characters and voice actors. Like, there's one where as soon as I heard Baxter Stockman, I said, oh, they got Jeff Goldblum. It's not. But it's Jeff Goldblum. Whoever's doing that voice, you know, they said, do Jeff Goldblum. That's what we want. And I've never seen a Jeff Goldblum Baxter Stockman, but by God, here he is, and he's great. I mean, just what a great idea. All I can say is that these people just got the source material of both, and they didn't overstay their welcome. They didn't go too far, but they didn't do too little either. They gave just the right amount, and it is just so freaking great. Now, it probably goes without saying, if you either don't know Batman or the Ninja Turtles, or you're not a fan of them, you're not gonna like this. This isn't gonna win you over. But who would watch this unless they didn't know what both of those were? And that this was gonna be really silly, really stupid, but they were gonna treat it with kind of this bizarre dignity that both the franchises have in their own strange way. And when they do in-jokes, they're not insulting. They're not something where you kind of roll your eyes and go, really? Like that? Well, yeah, one or two at the end. There's a scene where they all eat pizza. I'm just kind of like, all right, that's kind of dumb. But it's... maybe not. I don't know. It's kind of like an original Turtles cartoon. Like, that's something they would probably end with. So it's a bizarrely good balance. And I don't know how they did it. I am, like, amazed that this turned out as well as it did. If I had any criticism, and this is just, like, very slight, once in a while, particularly, I think, with the cars, like the Batmobile and the Turtle Van and stuff, every once in a while they go through something and, like, I don't think the rendering was done, or maybe they were on a time crunch or something like that, but it just felt like it goes a little choppy every once in a while, and, you know, that's a little unfortunate. But I mean, like, that has to be a time thing. I can't see them looking at that being like, you know, okay, that's good. And it's like, no, it's like, we don't have time, just get it out there. Everything else looks great, just get it out there. And it does. It looks great. All the actors are great. Animation's wonderful. The ideas, I mean, they just so take advantage of this. It's like a really cleverly, smartly written, what's the word? I want to say fanscription, but that's our show. Fan fiction. It's very much like a fan fiction, but like in the best way. Like someone that just really knew their shit and really wanted to have fun with it put this together. You know, the other comparison I'm thinking of, there's a game that came out, it's called like Ninja Turtles Rescue Palooza, I think, and just the amount of in-jokes in there are so great, but it's also a really fun game, and it's entertaining, and it's kind of throws new things at you all the time and sort of different ideas, and they're just like, let's have fun with this, but not be like insultingly dumb. It's the right amount goofy. Maybe that's it, man. Maybe the word isn't stupid, it's goofy. Like, it's awesomely goofy, and like kick-assingly weird, if that's a term I can use. If you're a Batman fan or a Turtles fan, especially if you're both, I like super highly recommend this. It's 100% fan servicey, but there's still characters, there's still character to them, and there's still this chemistry between them, surprisingly, and the action is fantastic, and the in-jokes are funny, and even if you don't know the in-jokes, just the comedy in general from them is very, very funny. I just had a ball, like from beginning to end. I just loved this, and I was going in ready to just be like, this isn't gonna work, this is stupid, but it's not. It's darkly goofy, how about that? And kick-assingly weird. I'm still gonna stick with that. So, yeah, if you're a fan of Batman and or Ninja Turtles, I can't recommend this more. This is just so much fun. It actually really makes me want to look up the other DC movies now. I get a feeling none of them are probably this much fun, but yeah, I just had a ball. I had a blast with it. Can't recommend it more. So go check it out. Tell me what you think. I'm curious if anyone didn't like it. And if so, why? I mean, I guess there's reasons not to like it if you don't like Batman or Ninja Turtles or whatever, but if you legit like them and saw this and didn't like it, I'd love to know why. And if you saw it and did enjoy it, let me know why as well. Let me know your favorite scenes, because God, there's so many good scenes in this, and it just, I want to see it again. Like, there's not many movies I see that I want to see again, and for a DC animated movie, for me to want to see that again, I mean, man, it's doing something right. So just hats off to you guys. You turned out something really fun and super fan servicey, but I mean, like, in the best way. I mean, this is just a good fan-pleasing product. That's really the reason I saw it, because everyone was telling me to go see it, and it's super, super good, and it's really smart, even though it's super goofy, but it's still dark and intimidating, and just, that's it, man. Just well done. That's all I got, man. I'll see you next time. Take care.